people who normally use an electronic tuning device have had a lot of difficulty learning to tune a temperament according to classical methods. So I've worked on a method that those people in particular should be able to find easier to do. It starts with the 4 contiguous thirds that many of the modern temperament sequence start with. But hopefully I'm going to be able to help you learn to do that most difficult part a little easier than some other methods show. There is a great value in the contiguous thirds in that it divides the temperament octave, the F3 to F4, into precisely 3 equal parts. And once that is done, you can rely on F3, A3, C sharp 4, F4, and A4 to be virtually perfect. Virtually perfect. Okay, I have the A4 already tuned to the tuning fork. So my first interval will be the octave A3 to A4. I hear a beat in the octave, but I don't know whether A3 is sharp or flat. So the best thing to do is to flatten the note that you're unsure of first to see if it makes the interval better or worse. Well, that made it worse. That means the octave is wide. Now I want to narrow the octave just until the point where I hear the beat stop. In approaching the octave from the wide side as I just did, more than likely the result is a 4-2 type octave. If I were to approach it from the narrow side, I would probably have a 2-1 type octave. The octave has a nice still and beatless sound, which is the goal in this method. The next interval then will be F3 to A3. That's a major third, and this you may have a lot of difficulty with. What does the 7 beats per second sound like? You don't really need to know that. All you need to know is that it's a moderate kind of sound. That would be very fast and sour sounding. That would be slow, too slow. We're looking for a kind of in-between sound. Now, just for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to start with the F3 to A3 being a little slower than I know that it should be, to show you how this system virtually self-corrects. So this is my estimate. Now I tune F4 to F3. Again, I make the interval wide. And narrow it just to the point where I hear the beat stop. So at this point, this octave is correct with itself. It has the same sound, the same relation between both notes as the A3 to A4 octave has. So by itself it's correct. Now we want to tune a major third above F3 and A3 between A3 and C sharp 4. The best way to approach that is to make both intervals beat exactly the same at first, which conveniently they really do. Now we know that that's not quite correct because they are not supposed to beat exactly the same. The top major third of any 2 contiguous thirds must beat a little faster than the lower. Now the difference between the two is a small difference. A 4 to 5 ratio is a small difference. Okay, it's not the smallest difference that exists between any two chromatic thirds. That's an even smaller difference. That ratio is about 15 to 16. So the point is that the small difference of a 4 to 5 ratio is an easily heard difference. Okay, I've made the C sharp 4 beat just a little faster than the F3 A3. So now I have 5 notes tuned, and if all